You guys, there is a squirrel watching me right now, like he's like part of the audience. Hello and welcome to another episode on Alchemy with Alea, the YouTube channel. Today I am talking about toxic positivity and why shadow work is the most authentic path to enlightenment. We see a lot of things inside the spiritual community. See a lot of different things. There's so much information out there. There is just so much to unpack, and I'm here to help guide and to shed some light on some of the practices and some of the understandings, especially within the spiritual community and self-development. There is this common conception that positivity is the only way to be. That good vibes only are the only way that you're going to manifest your desires. And I've seen in the spiritual community, because I've been a part of it for a very long time, there are some people, no one in particular, but there are some that I've seen, and I've seen this interaction where someone comes to a spiritual circle, or they come to a spiritual mentor, and they're having some issues, they're having some problems. Very common. We are humans having a human experience, so we're going to experience an entire rainbow of emotional fluctuation. And so someone comes to, a spiritual practitioner, someone who, is supposed to be there to help them be guided through all of the different areas of mind, body, spirit, and emotion. And they get turned away because that is low vibe. And they are over here on their pedestal, and they can't afford the compassion or the understanding to provide that space. So what I've always understood from spirituality and spiritual empowerment is that when someone is seeking spiritual practices and spiritual understanding and spiritual empowerment, they are seeking to find a piece of themselves, this deep innate faith and trust in themselves. And when they are turned away and somebody does not want to hold space for them and say that they're low vibe and they can't have bad emotions, you can't do this, you can't do that, because you're not going to be able to manifest your desires, you're not going to be able to live in alignment and live a life of joy if you're feeling depressed, or if you feel sad, or someone passed away and you can't grieve. I want to make it very clear that we are spiritual beings. Okay? We are spiritual beings having a human experience, and that means that we will experience grief, we will experience shame, we will experience guilt. We will experience anger. We will experience apathy. We will experience all of these things. That is what this 3D world is all about. This 3D world is in complete contrast to the unconditional love that is Source, God, Universe, whatever you want to call it. We are meant to be here and experience this contrast. We are meant to experience the struggle and the hardships. We are meant to experience a wide array of different emotions and feelings. And we are supposed to learn from them and understand them and accept them and love ourselves as a whole being experiencing these different things. We're not supposed to shun these feelings. We're not supposed to squash them down and pretend that they don't exist. And that's the problem with society, is that we don't discuss and we don't talk about, we don't talk about our triggers. We don't talk about all of these different conditions that we have lived through, and people pleasing and boundaries and all of these different things. we hide our true intentions. We hide away these pieces of ourselves. We push them away. We send them away. We pretend like they don't exist. But the thing is that we always manifest from our subconscious. So squishing them down and pushing them aside, they are still there, and you are still manifesting through the filter of guilt, shame, grief, if you haven't dealt with them. So that's why it's really important to understand our emotions, learn from them. This is what shadow work is all about, is understanding our programming, understanding our conditioning, understanding our triggers, and being able to love ourselves anyways, and being truthful about those experiences, and being truthful to ourselves about the way that we feel. Doesn't mean you always have to confront somebody who has triggered you or has harmed you in some way, but taking that burden off of yourself that, oh, I can't feel like this. Like I can't be angry. I can't feel guilty. I can't feel shame because it's bad and I'm not going to be able to manifest the things that I want. You will still be able to manifest the things you want. It's okay to have feelings. It's okay to want to understand them. And that's exactly what you should be doing. We as a society should be doing is understanding our feelings. And it's really important to have a safe place and creative outlets that you can explore to express them. Because the more that we push them down and hide them away, the more that they bottleneck and they erupt. And that's how, so often we have, communication breakdown within our relationships. Within, we say things we don't mean. We have these different reactions to people, and that's just not where we want to be, right? Finding that center, finding that peace inside starts with analyzing and understanding where we are coming from, where our intentions are, and our own boundaries. If we have explored that and we have expressed to someone, no, that's my boundary, I will not accept this, then we are in a much better place mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. Saying no when we want to say no, and not saying yes out of obligation. If we feel that we don't really want to do something, we shouldn't feel obligated to do it, or guilty or shamed into doing something that we just absolutely do not want to do. And this is all within shadow work. This is all within shadow work. This is all an understanding of shadow work. And I want to say that I do have a free shadow work journal that you can grab if you want to check the comments for the link down below. I do have that. You can check it out. It is very eye-opening. So be sure to follow the directions within the journal. So be sure to, have somebody that you can confide in. Make sure that you have a healthy self-love and self-care practice when exploring your shadow, because it can be very intense and very, very eye-opening. Like I said, it's the most authentic path to enlightenment and understanding where you are coming from. So this is why I wanted to do this episode, because it is not in service of people and humanity to pretend like we don't have these emotions, that we don't have this shadow, that we don't have this darker side, and that it's positive vibes only. So I find it a huge disservice to the community, to people, to humanity, to say that you are a spiritual advisor and to be a spiritual empowerment coach, a spiritual empowerment influencer leader and not be able to hold space for the people that actually need spirituality the most when dealing with their emotions and the understanding of their emotions, and helping them through a dark night of the soul as well as a spiritual awakening. If you can't hold space for people that are going through that, then how do you call yourself a leader? That's just my honest opinion. And I know that that may be triggering for some. That's just my opinion. So you can take that or leave that. Or if it resonates, awesome. If it doesn't, then by all means, you can do what you want, do what you will with that information. But that's just my understanding. So if there isn't a space, a safe space for somebody who has experienced great grief and great emotional upheaval, that is part of the spiritual process. That is part of a spiritual awakening. That is definitely a part of the dark night of the soul. And if you cannot provide a space for that, where's the help? Where is the compassion and the curiosity and the love and the faith in that process if it's good vibes only? So that's just my gripe with the spiritual community and the resurgence of this new age wave. It's just another name for just covering up all of those wounds that we don't want to see. When we are exploring our innermost, deepest caverns, and when we are exploring ourselves and our spiritual flame and returning home to this essence, just think like when someone has fallen on bad times and they find themselves inside of a church because they are craving for the faith and the support and the compassion and the love. That feeling of guidance and support is literally life-saving and life-changing. So if you're, trying to find your path and return home, if someone says, oh no, we don't do that here. No, we don't talk about bad vibes. We don't talk about social justice. We don't talk about those things. Then what is the spirituality? It's just another name for another trend. Spirituality demands of us change and transformation. It demands of us alchemy. It demands of us understanding and compassionate curiosity about each other and about ourselves. That's what spirituality demands of us, to understand ourselves so deeply so that we can hold space and understand those we share this planet with, so that we can hold space for others and other selves. So just my honest opinion, if you are exploring your spirituality and you find yourself in a place or a space or a container where we don't talk about low vibes, or we don't talk about those different things, we don't discuss triggers, positive vibes only, you're gonna kill the vibe, be wary of that. Be wary of that, because the real truth and the transformation happens with the really hard stuff in life. Now, I'm not talking about extreme trauma and extreme triggers, because I know that, there are things that happen in life that are sometimes unforgivable. And that's not what I'm talking about, because that's definitely, that does exist within shadow work. But if you have experienced extreme trauma and triggers, I highly suggest speaking to a trauma-informed specialist along with a therapist that perhaps even deals with shadow work, and start your journey there. Because it's very important to have somebody understand trauma, because we can't just sweep it under the rug and say positive vibes only, because that completely defeats the purpose of growth and transformation and spirituality. We can't just whitewash it. It's in the dirt, it's in the mud, it's in the growth, the germination, the fertilization of the soil and the roots that give us the seeds, that give us the strength, that give us the purpose to grow into our potential and be our best selves, so that others can see us shine and encourage and inspire those to do the same. So that is the end of my rant today. So thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Alchemy with Alea. And thank you so much for actually, sticking with it. If this message resonates with you, please give a like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, or leave a comment down below and tell me what you thought. Tell me how this resonated. Tell me what you're thinking, and let me know if you'd like more, topics about this kind of stuff, if you would like more understanding, if you'd like more discovery on this topic, if it's helped you in any sort of way. Please, let's connect. And again, go into the comment section and go into that link for the free shadow work journal. You will be surprised as what comes up when you are doing your journaling on these different topics. But again, if anything is too triggering, stop immediately and contact your therapist or a trauma-informed coach and go from there. So thank you so much again, and I will see you next week, next Monday. So this channel goes every Monday, so every moon day, which is perfect for, my whole aesthetic. So I'm super excited to see you again next Monday for another topic. Let me know if these are the things you'd like to hear, or if you'd like to hear something else. I am happy to talk about anything spirituality and alchemy. All right, bye for now.